we'll have a delay,
So no,
I was
Is
just
that
gonna
so we
push
can edit?
we're working.
You don't have time to bleep
Then I
words
went
before
out
they go out to
after
the.
my finance meeting on.
By the way, that's the new hair color today.
I was there at 9 o'clock.
The new ladies' hair color.
Yeah.
It was very low volume.
What is?
I'm a
It was,
trendsetter.
I don't know what movie was being showed,
Oh,
shown at that time.
Hanneman's
And then I
hair color.
drove specifically along Hawthorne,
Highlands.
and in,
New
couldn't
ladies.
hear anything of that movie. No calls that night.
Right.
Thank
But
you.
then, I got a call last night. I got a call last night. Here today.
I was tempted to come attired as
So-
Alderman Nelson, but
Depends on the,
somehow the center
on
chair
the,
maybe.
Well, DeAndrea went that way too.
on the movie.
He's wore the same thing for 3 days.
They have.
I mean, I'm wearing a dress, so it's
They know
kind of
what
the
movie
same,
is.
but.
They should be
I planned on
listening
more
to it.
professional attire, but
But then again, they
since
don't need that loud
2:15 at
volume.
US Cellular.
Right.
So they're,
Exactly.
they're.
Biggest scam ever.
And who is the
Well, we're
reporter?
gonna use, no, decibels doesn't pertain to this.
Yes, that's all I ask. You know,
No.
but it's not, you know, I can't,
Every other day.
I'm not in a position where I'm
Are they
ever gonna.
ready?
Never, never.
Yeah, we're ready.
Bang the hammer.
Ever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're
I will call the special common council meeting of May 28th to order. Madam Clerk, please call roll, and will the aldermen speak up, because we're doing this with all substitute equipment tonight.
Mayor Olson,
I'm here.
Alderman DeAndrea,
here.
Alderman Mayor,
Here.
Alderwoman Wilhelm,
Here.
Alderwoman Hanneman,
Here,
Alderman Barber. Here. Alderman Nelson.
Here.
We have a quorum. Please rise and join the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mike, let's just stay as we are, okay? First item on the agenda is citizens' comment period. Any citizen wishing to speak? Any citizen wishing to speak? Seeing no one rise, I will close the citizens' comment period. Move on to item C, reports and recommendations. First item is a resolution to amend the resolution ratifying proclamation extending the time period of the public health emergency for 40 days to July
so,
7th.
At midnight,
At midnight, July 7th,
11:59.
11:59 PM. 11:59 PM. Any questions on the resolution? In addition to that, I'm gonna note for the record that the city of Franklin is not under any health orders regarding any restrictions on business operations or movements without, or business closures throughout the city. Alderman David,
So basically then what is it doing?
this is extending the opportunity for us, should we see a spike, to do some selected closures or selected orders. This also gives us opportunity for FEMA grants and funding sources such as that.
Virtual meeting.
It gives us virtual meeting attendance until we can change our ordinance, which we expect to do at the next common council meeting.
Okay.
And by the way, that change will be a universal change, so that any meeting of the common council or committees could be held by virtual attendance.
Is this consistent with our surrounding communities? Or is this just us?
The extension of the order,
Yes.
it's consistent.
Oh, okay, with,
We're gonna be a little shorter than most of our neighboring communities, but
okay,
we can extend it.
okay.
So is there a motion to adopt a resolution, amend the resolution ratification of a proclamation declaring a public health emergency response for 40 days? It's been moved by,
I have one more point if you wanna just.
is there a second?
Well, I'll second it.
Alderman Nelson.
Just to confirm that we are not, and I alluded to it, but we are not making anything more restrictive, so our businesses that are currently open are remaining open. We're not, is that correct?
I was waiting for you to go larger so I could say yes.
Okay. I'll
So
just-
the answer is yes. We have no restrictions on operations of our business. We're operating under a guidance and recommendations mode of operations.
Thank you.
And actually, to expand on Alderman Nelson's point, our businesses have been enthusiastically supporting the way we're operating. They've been opening cautiously, and they've been asking for lots of advice and counsel from our health department, so it's been very good.
Thank you.
You want me to break some more?
Okay. Keep going. I'm
Okay.
good.
Mayor, I've got a question.
Alderman,
This goes to the 7th. Does it impact the 4th of July? And while we're on the 4th of July subject, what's the current status of the July 4th celebration?
Alderman Hammond.
Yes, because I am the aldermanic representative on the Civic Celebrations Commission. There is a meeting that was just noticed today that will be held 6:30 PM Monday, June 1st, where the commission will make a decision about the 2020 4th of July celebration. We've also received a formal opinion from Courtney Day, who is our Director of Health and Human Services here in Franklin, recommending cancellation of the event based upon the guidelines set by the CDC and the government as it stands today. Again, the committee will make the ultimate decision one way or another on Monday night, but there are a lot of things to consider.
I've asked the committee to be creative. Just because we may not have a parade as we're used to, doesn't mean we can't do something else. Just because we may not do fireworks as we are used to, doesn't mean we can't do something else. But I've asked them to work with the health officer in whatever we do, to do something that's safe.
If I may add.
Absolutely.
I think that the commission will be somewhat bound by this resolution. I looked in the verbiage of actually what it would mean, and to sort of paraphrase here, for the city to take all reasonable and necessary steps to prevent exposure to and or spread of the COVID-19 coronavirus within the city of Franklin. So I think that might be a phrase that would bind the commission one way or another.
I agree. So either way, we would have an announcement, the announcement would probably be before Tuesday, but by next Tuesday's meeting, we'll be able to let everyone know in general, probably.
But I would think, Alderwoman, that the commission would not want to do anything to spread the disease. And
Exactly,
at any rate, they wouldn't do anything contrary to that statement.
exactly.
So- All right, on the matter, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Alderman Wilhelm, we didn't hear you.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. The next agenda, the motion passes, thank you. Next item, item 2, granting a waiver, interest and penalties associated with late payment of the May 31st tax levy installment. Mr. Rotzenberg.
I'll make the motion.
Oh, wait a minute, there's issues here. Mr.
So-
Rotzenberg.
Yeah, the first motion.
Hold on one second, Alderwoman Wilhelm.
So
You
I-
can jump in right away, but let's talk about this first.
I listened to the county board meeting earlier today, and there was extensive discussion on this matter. But ultimately, the Board of Supervisors for Milwaukee County adopted a resolution that provides for a blanket waiver of the May 31st tax installment here in the city of Franklin, if this council so chooses to adopt a similar resolution, which is in your packet. I was reminded this afternoon that the county executive has to sign that declaration. And while the Journal Sentinel reported that the county exec intends to sign it, I haven't heard whether he has or not. signed the resolution. So in consult with the Franklin City Attorney earlier this afternoon, suggests that if it's the council's pleasure to adopt the resolution that would provide for the blanket waiver, that resolution or that motion should be subject to the county exec signing the county's resolution, so that we are in compliance with that in its entirety.
Mr. City Attorney.
Without detailing it to the county executive's signature on the document, I would just say, it's approved upon full process finalization of the Milwaukee County resolution as adopted May 28th, 2020.
So there are two things that the alderman should be, or the alderpersons should be aware of. This action, should you adopt it this evening, would qualify 1,036 taxpayers here in the city of Franklin. That is the number of taxpayers who on, today's Thursday, Tuesday, who had not yet made the May 31st payment, but were current as of April 1st. There are a number of taxpayers in the city of Franklin who have not made the May 31st payment, but also were not current with their payments on March 1st, and they will not qualify for this, because only those people who made their January and March tax installments timely will qualify for this exemption, and that number, as of Tuesday morning, was just over 1,000 taxpayers.
Could I ask one question?
Alderman Dandria.
Paul, what's the date that we send delinquent taxes to the county?
The city of Franklin, by state statute, collects taxes through July 31st. And then on August 15th, we will settle those tax payments back with all of the other taxing authorities. And on August 20th, Milwaukee County, by state statute, is required to purchase the unpaid real estate taxes from the city of Franklin. At that point, there's been some discussion that possibly we would continue to collect taxes instead of the county collecting taxes to help, because we know what's going on in Franklin and the county doesn't. And then we would settle again in September and potentially in October for payments in August and September. But there's been no decision on either of those alternates yet.
So then we have, did you calculate how much we would potentially lose in interest and penalty revenue, and how that affects the city of Franklin?
Well, the best way for me to describe that is I looked at the last 4 years of tax collections, and approximately $500,000 of real estate taxes go uncollected in July. And the city typically collects in the neighborhood of $100,000 of interest and penalty in May, June, and July. If we provide this exemption, some portion of that $100,000 won't be collected because we're giving them the opportunity not to pay it and not to charge it. So that's the best estimate I can give you at this point in time, is something on the neighborhood of $500,000 or more of uncollected taxes, and the 1.5% per month interest on that would be foregone by the part of the city.
Okay, so, I mean, in my opinion, if I'm given to September 30th, not to have to pay my taxes, free, probably would slide till September 30th. But maybe not everybody would do that, but.
Well, 2 weeks earlier, we had 1,600 accounts that weren't paid yet.
Okay.
And in that 2 weeks' time, a third of those people paid their taxes. And a whole bunch more paid them Tuesday, Wednesday, today, and many will make their payments tomorrow because they won't know about the action that has been taken. Now, the Journal Sentinel did publish an online article this afternoon indicating that the county adopted that and that the local cities have to make their decisions sometime before Sunday. But, you know, so different taxpayers will be in different positions.
Sure. Okay, thanks.
Paul, on page 16 of the packet, the last page, very top of the page, section 3 of the ordinance specifies that the city of Franklin agrees to upgrade the 2020 land nav software. Do we know what the cost of that land nav software upgrade will be?
I made an inquiry with the county controller on that issue yesterday morning. He has not responded, but during the county supervisors meeting today, the county controller indicated that they will not have to make that software upgrade because of the way that the county adopted the resolution. The existing software will handle what the county is doing, and there's no need to upgrade at this time.
Okay. It's good because this is their software, and some mayor on the south side community said, because this is because of the COVID crisis, they ought to use COVID funds to pay for this. I don't know if they heard that south side mayor, happens to talk a lot in these meetings. Wow, anyway, okay, good, so, all right, good. All right.
Mayor,
Alderman Mayor.
so my motion then would include striking that if necessary.
Who's the mayor?
Alderwoman Wilhelm, when she makes the motion.
Okay, when you make that motion, Alderwoman Wilhelm, please do that. But Alderman Mayor has his hand up, so hold on a little bit. Alderman Mayor.
First of all, I'm not sure, you can't generalize by saying the south side mayor that talks a lot, because that really doesn't narrow it down.
There's a lot.
Number two, if county adopted this as their policy, and if in the end county takes over our taxes, our delinquent taxes, wouldn't they automatically apply their policy to that?
That will become a law here in Milwaukee County, and Milwaukee County will own the tax bill after July 31st, in essence. And so they will forgive or forego charging interest if a taxpayer, if an account we report to them was current as of April 1st, and the party makes their payment by September 30th, then there would be no interest charged on their bill. If the taxpayer pays their bill on October 15th, December 15th, sometime after October 1st, then they would be charged interest on that portion of the tax bill that was unpaid back to February 1st.
Conceivably though, if we do not adopt it, and we have conscientious taxpayers that pay their entire bill before it goes to county, they could in a way be, I don't wanna say penalized because they're paying the fair share, but those that wait until it's put to county would benefit for not having paid before it goes to county. They would get a benefit from that, if we do not adopt this.
If we don't adopt this, then the current rules that are in place continue to be.
Yes.
And anyone who doesn't make their May 31st property tax payment on time is then charged interest
Right.
going back to February 1st for that May 31st payment. And if they didn't make their March payment, their March payment would also have interest charged on it back to February 1st. And if they didn't make the appropriate payment in January, they'd be charged interest on all of that from the point in time that they made their first payment.
But if it goes to county collection, and it's county's policy to forgive them that additional charge,
They would not qualify for that because this board did not adopt the same solution.
okay.
Act 185
Okay, that was my-
requires the state, the
Okay.
county, and the local municipality to adopt enabling legislation. Does that answer your question,
I
Alderman?
believe so,
Madam Clerk, did you have a question?
Which one are we doing?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Which one are we doing?
The first
What-
one or the second one with,
The first motion with striking item 3 off of the resolution.
So the title of the resolution that staff would recommend is a resolution granting a waiver of interest as opposed to a specific waiver of interest. That's
Okay,
the real
good.
difference.
And upon full process and finalization of the Milwaukee County resolution as adopted on May 28th, 2020.
That's your motion, Alderman Wilhelm?
Did she just read in the part of the motion? Is that what I just heard?
Yes.
I
The
struck,
Your
motion
motion
adopting
with-
the resolution?
Yeah, your
Okay.
motion striking 3.
All right, that's great.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Mr. City Attorney?
Mr. Ratzenberg, the resolution which is the subject of this motion does match what was approved by the county board today, correct?
I did pick up each of their therefores in their resolution in our resolution, so it does match.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a sec-
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Bye, Mike.
Alderwoman Kristen Wilhelm
Bye, Kristen.
has left.
Hey, let's meet and do it all again Tuesday.